Very good morning to dear children. Today's session is on subject English. Lesson number 4. Your own book of science. This lesson is related to science. First part of this lesson includes an experiment. Another part is related to puzzles in our surrounding. So, let's begin with our lesson. For first experiment, you will need salt, ice and thread. Let's see the procedure of this experiment. So, are you ready for it? Very good. Lesson number 4, your own book of science. You may have come across simple but amazing science experiments in magazines, newspaper, supplements or on the internet. Collect any 5 to 8 experiments you like. Ask your parents, teachers whether the experiments are safe. Then carry out the experiments. If necessary, take the help of your parents, teachers. Record the experiments on separate sheets in your own book of science. An example is given to you. This means that you might have come across many simple, amazing, surprising scientific experiments. You might have read about such experiments in magazines, in newspaper supplements, or you might have surfed it on the internet. The book of science consists such kind of experiments. So here you are asked to collect some 5 to 8 experiments that you like and record these experiments in a separate sheet, or you can make your own book of science and you can make record of your scientific experiments in this. But my dear children, when you go through or you learn some experiment, you come to know about any experiment, please do share it with your parents or you share it with your teachers and ask whether the experiments are safe for you. Please do not directly try those experiments. Do such experiments in supervision of your parents or teachers. It can be harmful for you. Okay, so please remember, do not carry out any experiments on your own. First, do share it with your parents and teachers. Last but not the least, please don't be behind your parents. If they say that they are going to help you in performing the experiment, take their time because your parents are quite busy. So, whenever it is comfortable for them, they will give you the time and do the experiment on that time. Please don't trouble them for the experiment. Clear? Let's see what is the experiment today. A simple experiment lifting ice. If you want to lift ice without touching it, what do? Read on to find out. Dear children, this sounds very interesting, right? Very surprising also. Yes, no? Because without touching an ice, how we can lift it? It's really a magic. You want to learn the magic? Come on, let's read out the procedure. What do you need for this? Ice cubes, thread and common salt. First step is place and ice cubes in a dish. Second step, place a piece of thread on the ice cube. Sprinkle some common salt on and near the thread on the ice cube. Now wait for a few seconds. Now hold the two ends of the thread and try to pick it up carefully. Now wait and observe what happens next. Now try placing the thread in different ways to lift the ice. You can place just one end of the thread on the ice cube and lift the ice with the other end. Dear children, first you kept thread at the center, okay, the thread center part on the ice cube. Now you can also try by keeping only one end on the ice cube of the thread on the ice cube and then sprinkling common salt on it. After you wait for some time, you can see that ice and thread become one. Slowly you can lift the ice without touching it with the help of thread. Okay, do try this experiment and share your experience with me. Now let's move ahead with your second part of the lesson. What do you see on the screen, my dear children? Try to guess. What is this? Yes, they appear to you like ice balls. What are these ice balls called as? Hailstones. So today our lesson is on hailstones. Lesson number 4, part 2. Puzzles in your surroundings. Why does it hail even in summer? We feel very hot in summer. The sun shines brightly and the temperature is high. And then suddenly there are clouds in the sky and it starts raining. Not just water, but even small balls of ice. We say it has started hailing. The small balls of ice are called hailstones. Why does it hail in the hot summer season? Let's understand this paragraph. Dear children, in summer we feel very hot. Sun shines very brightly in the sky, and that's the reason the temperature also is high. Suddenly, clouds appear in the sky and it starts raining. But it rains means there should be drops of water, right? Just imagine if small balls of ice falls off from the sky. Yes, it's very surprising, joyful to you. Yes, it happens, my dear children. Small balls of ice which fall off from the sky, they are called as hailstones. Most probably, hailstones occur during hot summer season. Now, let's understand or let's know why these hailstorms come during summer season. The second paragraph is going to tell us. Let's begin with our second paragraph. As we move up from the land, the temperature begins to fall. Up in the sky, it is very cold, even in the hot season. You know that there are water particles in the clouds that we see in the sky. Very high up in the sky, the water particles in the clouds turn into little bits of ice. Sometimes there are strong winds in the clouds. They push these little bits of ice upward, so they do not fall to the ground. They go up and collect more water particles which freeze onto them. Thus, the tiny balls get bigger and bigger. They turn into hailstones. The heavy hailstones then fall on to the ground in the form of a shower. Very tiny hailstones melt before they reach the ground. They turn into raindrops, but some hailstones reach the ground before they melt. A light shower of hail can be great fun, but a hailstorm can cause great damage to crops, plants, and animals. Dear children, you are aware of the process of water cycle. You know that due to the heat of the sun, the water from the water bodies evaporate. It gets converted into small, minute water droplets. These water droplets, along with the wind, is carried out up in the sky. Many water droplets come together and form cloud. Now, due to the strong wind, these clouds, they are pushed little bit upward in the sky. And as we go far away from the ground, the temperature starts becoming cool. Hence, what happens? The water droplets which are there in the cloud starts freezing, and slowly and steadily they start converting into tiny balls. Now, these tiny balls get bigger and bigger, and these bigger tiny small balls of ice turns into hailstones. Dear children, heavy hailstones, they fall on the ground in the form of shower. But there are very tiny hailstones which melt in the midway. Means before reaching to the ground, they melt. Then they again turn into a raindrop. But the hailstones which are very bigger in size, they come down to the ground. Light shower of hail can be a great fun to us, but hailstorm can cause great damage to crops, plants, and animals. Here is small piece of information in front of you. Maharashtra was hit by a series of hailstorms in 2014. The hailstorms devastated thousands of acres of standing crops. Fruit crops were ruined. Birds and animals were killed and injured in large numbers. Farmers suffered heavy losses. It was a great natural calamity. My dear children, Maharashtra also experienced hailstorms in the year 2014. At that time, it destroyed thousands of acres of standing crops. That time, fruit crops were ruined, means they were devastated, they were destroyed. Many birds and animals were killed and injured in large number. Many farmers suffered huge loss. So such kind of losses are considered as natural calamity. It is said that it's a natural calamity. Yes, because calamity means destruction because of nature. Let's move ahead. You may have other questions that puzzle you. Note down at least 10 such questions on the basis of your observation of things and events in your surroundings. A few examples are given below. Where do flowers get their color from? Why are leaves green? Why does chopping on onion make you cry? Dear children, here you are asked to observe and note the questions which puzzle you, which surprise you. For examples are given that from where does the flower gets its color? Why leaves are green in color only? Why not another color? Or why after chopping onion it makes us cry? Okay, so you can make list of such questions which arises in your mind or which are there in your mind after the observations of events or things in your surrounding. Note each questions on a separate page in your book. That book you can name it as Book of Science. Draw suitable pictures or you can paste related photographs on that page. Try to find out the answers to your questions with the help of your parents, teachers, or friends. Make use of science journals and reference books to find out the answers. You may find the answers on the internet with the permission and guidance of your parents, guardians, or teachers. Browse through the informative websites. You may find some of the answers you need in your textbooks or other informative books. Note down the answers on the relevant pages. When you have collected a few experiments and answers to your questions, put them all together in your very own book of science. Here is a piece of suggestion to you that you can write these questions. You can try to find out answers to these questions with the help of your parents, teachers, or friends. You can go through, there are various science journals available in the market or in your library, or there are other science references books. You can also try to browse this information about your questions on the internet, but take help of your guardians, teachers, or your parents. And then after you get answers to your questions, you can write all these experiments or the things which puzzles you. You can find the answers and write it in your own book, that is your book of science, and you can keep it as a record for you. Dear children, today we have learned this lesson, interesting lesson related to science. We have seen one experiment here, and also we have learned about the hailstones. I hope you have enjoyed this session, this lesson. So, meet you next week. Till that, bye. Take care. Be safe. Stay at home. Enjoy your digital learning.